YouTube channel that was in the woods live streaming as the body was found.
WKYT's Jeremy Toms is joining us now live. Jeremy, you just had a chance to actually interview that couple a few minutes ago. What did they say?
Yeah, Bill and Amber, we are here at the 49er Fuel Center, and that is where I was able to meet up with Fred and Shelia McCoy. As you mentioned, that is the couple who says that they found this body in the vicinity of Exit 49, just off here in the Daniel Boone National Forest, the same one that law enforcement are working to identify at this very moment. This couple tells me that they weren't just hiking, they were hunting. They've been looking for Joseph Couch, and it all started as a date night idea 6 days ago. They've been posting a series of videos on their YouTube channel. The channel is titled Hatfield's and McCoy's Museum Adventures, and each day you'll see they've come out with a new episode of this series they've titled Bounty Hunters. They were live streaming today when they tell me they came upon the body, and they walked me through what that search has been like and what ultimately led them back to this area.
Anywhere we could look, and Saturday we come out of here and we've seen a bunch of vultures up there, and what we'd been looking for, if somebody's dead, there's going to be the vultures. Follow the vultures, and there's only about 5 or 6. They were lighting on that tower up there, and we figured just a small animal where there was just so few of them. We come back Sunday and Monday, and more and more. Today there was about 50.
And Fred McCoy tells me that, you know, when I asked him, are you confident that this could be Joseph Couch, he said, who else would be out in these woods? And so, you know, we'll wait to see just what turns up from this. But they say they had a couple of different motives to go out into these woods. For one, they wanted a piece of that reward that people have been offering for Joseph Couch's capture, but they also wanted to bring some sense of normalcy back to these communities. They say that they hate what they've seen happen to these local residents who have had to deal with school closures, business closures, and more, as so many law enforcement officers work to find this person. Again, we'll wait to see just who this body is identified as, but right now it could have been a couple from the Hatfield and McCoy Museum Adventures YouTube page who stumbled upon the end of this long search. Live in Laurel County, I'm Jeremy Toms, WKYT.